Hello everybody, my name is Super Chicken, and here we are trying to climb our ranks once again. Still on level 19. I did play a few games whilst I was not recording. I got up to 17 or 18, but then I started to lose pretty rapidly to a particular style of deck, and that would just be flat out aggro. Usually Warlock aggro or something like that. I believe even a Weapon Warrior deck. Basically come at me a little bit too fast for me to handle. So I've tweaked my numbers a little bit on my list. I have gone up to the full amount of Wild Pyromancers, got at least one copy of Arcane Explosion. At the moment I still have no Blizzards and I am only running one Flame Strike, but I'm thinking we could probably put one Blizzard or maybe one Flame Strike back into the deck. Because that Warlock deck just keeps coming at you just non-stop. Like, they just dump their creatures, you sweep it away, they dump some more creatures, and they keep life tapping to draw it more and more. And to be honest, I can't even keep up with that. It's just, it's pretty brutal. So we're gonna keep with the deck that we do have, and just sort of hope not to run into any Warlock aggro. Even though we have made a couple of tweaks to sort of try to compensate for that match. Anyway, we got a Paladin, so it's not gonna. We'll just play it as we go. This is a pretty bad opening hand. Yes, it's all low-cost cards, but I don't really see myself wanting to counter anything early anyway. What could they possibly cast that I care about countering? And this is more of a thing I'd rather draw mid-game to pick up some speed. So I'm going to risk it and try to get something a little bit lower. I think having some early interaction, some early tangible interaction, other than drawing cards and then, you know, being beaten to death by his little soldier that he makes. Something like that would be nice. We did get an Arcane Explosion and an Ice Barrier in our opening hand. I think that's pretty neat.
Ready for action!
Okay, yeah, I mean, it might be a little bit too early, but if they're going to be playing Goldshire Footman, I think we're probably going to be okay this game. I mean, hey, he can prove me wrong. I'm more than happy to do that. Except Goldshire Footman, as far as I know, isn't particularly strong card, and I can't even think of any combo of cards that would make that card a good card. So if you're playing that, you're off to a bad start. You've come with the wrong deck. I'm gonna ping his Goldshire Footman and try to trigger his secret that he's played here. It might just be that "Get down" guy. Which it isn't, so there you go. Or at least it might have been that resurrection one. See, I actually don't even know the name of the Paladin spell, but he can resurrect his Goldshire Footman. And it would have been nice to have done, to be able to draw out the secret just by using my passive. But alas, it wasn't meant to be. Well, this is a card that can get out of hand quickly, especially when played in a Paladin deck because of his reinforce ability. I think the play here is just to play a Kirin Tor Mage with perhaps an Ice Barrier. Yeah. I mean, alternatively, we can put down a Vaporize. So if he decides to swing at me for that 2 damage, he will just be destroyed. Seems alright. Yeah, I think we'll actually put the Vaporize out. I don't particularly want to have this go out of hand, and I don't really have a spell in my hand currently that will efficiently destroy him. I don't currently hold a Frostbolt or something like that. And who's to say I may not actually end up drawing one. Okay, so it looks like his Ghoul will go onto our Vaporize. That probably worked out better than what it would have been playing the Ice Barrier here. The extra armor is fine, it's like an extra health, but he just flogs me for, you know, 3 damage, 4 damage, and eventually it becomes like a wasted card, like I did nothing. Removing it before it actually does stuff is more important, and we can Ice Barrier later. Okay. We don't actually have to do a lot here because he hasn't done a lot himself. So I think we'll just sort of put down a couple of secrets and pass the turn. If he's going on to 5 mana, there's good creatures at 5 mana, so I think whatever he is going to play, we'll just try to copy it. And I'll just ping him for 1. Hopefully he'll play something like a Chillwind Yeti or, you know, something sort of angry and mean that we can just straight away copy and then trade away with it, which would be particularly nice. A Chillwind Yeti would actually be really nice, because then he wouldn't even be able to kill my Chillwind Yeti with his own true silver champion, so that'd be superb. Having to think.
Squire, attend me.
Ready, sir.
Yeah, I mean, that's worked out pretty well for him, because I miss out on the battle cry effect, because I only copy the creature, I don't copy the battle cry. Battle cry is when you play it from your hand, not when it enters the battlefield. And he gets to, of course, you know, use his sword on it. Yeah, the Silverhand Knight could be a little bit of a problem here. I don't particularly want to use my sheep spell on it. Sorry, beg your pardon, Polymorph. I don't want to use Polymorph onto it yet. I sort of feel like that could be a waste. I think the play here is to Blood Mage into Arcane Missiles, and then we have the option of using Arcane Explosion or pinging. Complicated, but I think that's how we're going to do it. This guy's going to come down. Arcane Missiles first. Nice and cheap. Okay. Now, at this point we can Arcane Explosion, killing this guy, taking him down to 1. Or I could just ping this guy with Fire Blast, leaving him alive. I think I'll do Arcane Explosion at this point here. Oh, actually, I've got the Spell Power menu out. Oh my gosh, that's the obvious choice.
Job done.
How foolish. Yeah, I mean, I even played him with the purpose of getting the spell power for Arcane Missiles, and then totally forgot that the spell power would apply to my Arcane Explosion. But hey, clearly I'm very good at this game. I think this is the sort of guy that you just want to sheep straight away. Yeah, I mean, he's the sort of creature that trades twice. Usually he'll kill something of yours and pop the shield, and then you'll have to spend another resource trying to remove him after the shield's gone. So this is a pretty good polymorph target. I probably will just polymorph this and call it a day. In case you haven't realized, polymorph works really well with Fire Blast. Don't know what secret he's got here, but let's see.
Job's done.
Get down! I think we're okay with this because I still draw a card off it. Maybe hanging on to him would have been a bit better. But I don't really think I needed the spell power at that point, so maybe that was an okay trade. I mean, you could argue that I'm probably never going to attack him anyway, except for something with Ragnaros, and he doesn't even attack, so maybe that was just a bad trade back there. The Pyromancer. I think we can destroy this guy this turn using the Pyromancer. If I play the Pyromancer, then a spell, that'll pop the shield, and then another spell, and then a Fire Blast. That's a little awkward. Can I afford it? 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, I need 10 mana to do that. I think in this case we'll ping off his shield, because this is actually really, really good for pinging off the shields of things. It's very efficient in that way. I can probably play my Azure Drake next, and he may actually trade into my Drake, and I'll end up ahead in that trade because I draw a card from it, and I removed his creature. Yes, he removed mine, but I've drawn a card, so I've sort of ended up ahead in a way. I think that's the play. He can choose to ignore this creature, and do the 4 damage to me, and I think it's probably his best option, honestly, because I will then trade with this creature, because, you know, I want the trade to happen.
Behold the might of Stormwind!
See, this is where it gets hairy. This is something you definitely want to keep a polymorph spell for. So I'm sort of hoping to draw a polymorph spell, or a fireball would be superb right about now to get rid of the Stormwind champion. And this card is so annoying. Sorry, I was mousing over. You probably covered up just what happened there, but put a Divine Shield on this guy and then traded away my creature. Very, very annoying. The obvious play here is to Flame Strike. I think that is almost 100% what I'll be doing. And I'll probably be even... Let me see now. If I play him and him... 4, 5... No, he's going to live just that little bit. So I'm going to have to Flame Strike and Frostbolt to get rid of these 3. We spent 2 cards to trade for their 3, so it's probably an okay trade. But at the same time, he did get rid of my Azure Drake for practically nothing. Luckily, the Azure Drake does draw a card, so I think we've come out ahead marginally. Marginally coming out ahead.
For the crusade!
I think we're doing pretty well at this stage, considering that we are just trying to stay alive until I draw one of our finishers here, like Ysera just here. Considering we're on 21 life, that's we're doing all right. Yeah, I definitely want to get rid of this creature. I would like to get rid of this creature, but I just don't think it's going to be happening. Probably some sort of Pyromancer combo here would be the way.
Do you like to play with fire?
Yeah, I think we'll ping away the shield. And I think we're going to put down both of our secrets here. If I play the other one, he will die. Maybe I'll just keep him for a turn. I don't think we need the counterspell up just yet. Either way, depending what he does with the Lord of the Arena, he can either swing it into my Pyromancer, sort of, you know, maybe he doesn't want it to trigger again and wipe the, you know, do damage to his whole board, which will put him to 1 health, and I'll finish it with Fire Blast. Alternatively, he can swing into me, which is probably what will happen. Yeah, especially when he does stuff like that. He'll probably swing into me, that'll trigger my secret, so effectively we're not really going to be taking much damage this turn.
Reporting for duty.
Yeah, I gotta say, Stormwind Champion is just a beating. Oh, he did trade, look at that. Stormwind Champion puts it out of my Fire Blast range, so that's something to consider. Considering I'm about to receive a phenomenally large amount of damage, I sort of need to play this card, draw 2 cards, and hope that I hit something fantastic. That's what we're going to do. Definitely need to hit something good. The Frostbolt's probably the best thing there. We can Frostbolt the Lord here. He has to go. We're really on the back foot here. We're really trying our hardest not to die. And it's gonna get hard. I think we're going to play Spellbender here. Basically, what we need to do for next turn is we need to either set up Ysera or Ragnaros. We need to get one of these down now. And to do that, we've got to have either the Counterspell or the Spellbender up so that it doesn't get sort of destroyed by any sort of witchcraft that he wishes to employ. The reason I'm not going to do Counterspell is because I don't want to snag a Blessing of Kings or something like that he will play on one of these creatures, perhaps. Because I feel like I can take that extra 4 damage for a turn. But the Spellbender will take that as well. Maybe that's a bad example. Alright, we'll go with the Counterspell. We do still have Ice Armor up. Ice Barrier? Ice Barrier. We still have Ice Barrier up, so we are deceptively more durable than what we appear at the moment. That was a smart move on his side. I mean, he is testing for Vaporize there. I mean, you're not going to swing with your 6/6 when there's 2 secrets up because there could be a Vaporize and you will lose your 6/6. But I mean, he's more than happy to sacrifice his free creature.
My shield for Argus!
Yeah, well, we stopped giving him a Divine Shield, which is probably pretty good. I actually sort of would have preferred to have had Spellbender down. I know I was talking about it before, and I sort of talked myself out of it. I would have loved to have just taken a Divine Shield onto my Spellbender just then. That would have been absolutely fantastic. Luckily, we drew in a Polymorph, though, so we can get rid of this horrific thing. And, I mean, I have a choice of killing the sheep or the man here. I think I'm going to kill the sheep to save myself the embarrassment to losing to a sheep later on. These are the things you got to think about. I mean, we have both of our finishes here. We have a counterspell styler effect there, spellbender. We've got it in place. That's him testing for vaporize just there.
The light protects me.
We are really behind, and he's dropping his stuff on the board. I would love to pick up another sweeper here just to clear all this stuff away. But if I don't, I'm going to have to jam Ragnaros and just sort of get busy. This one's going to be a pretty fine one. Definitely redlining it this game. That is for absolute sure. I'm going to ping away something I can destroy. Oh, yeah. Just minimize his damage as much as I can. I honestly want him to take out a creature right now. Yeah, you know, it could have been that one. But sure, the 1/1's fine. More embarrassing though would be if you just took it off the shield of this creature. That would be lame.
Not on my watch.
This Divine Shield extravaganza that we are witnessing is going to probably be the death of me. I don't have an effective way to really get through these.
Reporting for
I think
duty.
it's basically whether I win or lose comes down to whether or not I draw a sweeper now. Oh, Pyroblast. Okay. That's ugly. I mean, what do you do here? I mean, I'm at the point when I so badly need to get rid of their creatures to live. If I Pyroblast the Defender of Argus, do I still die next turn? Let's say 2, 4, 6 damage. No, I won't, actually. Unless he does something, which he probably will. I will actually live for a turn. So I will... We have to remove him if we wish to continue this game. That's a very gross amount of mana wasted. And this has to go as well. If he does nothing, like assuming he doesn't draw a Blessing of Kings or something like that, we could live by 1 life. And, you know, if we live by 1 life, that gives us 1 more turn to... Oh, that's perfect. But yeah, it gives us 1 more turn to find that sweet, sweet sweeper, which we need so, so bad.
For the crusade!
Oh my gosh, everything's got shields!
Reporting for duty.
Excuse me, you Mr. Man, he hasn't got a shield. Oh gosh, that's such a teasing spell. I could actually live another turn, maybe. And this actually gets through the Divine Shield. Oh, we are so close to dying. See, Ragnaros here will probably just throw his fireball into one of these and it will absorb the shield. Yeah, that's unfortunate, but it's probably gonna have to happen. We can ping that creature away, but more than likely he's gonna... Oh, I think that just sealed the game. Just I can't believe it. The Leper Gnome is gonna get that little bit extra damage through. Now he probably led with the wrong creature just then. He probably should have led with this one, but I think he's just really... I don't think it matters, does it? No, it doesn't matter. Oh, wow. Wow. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I think we could probably use yet another sweeper in this deck. I mean, I just wasn't hitting them. I could be a bit light on, so we're gonna make a quick change. I think we only really need to add 1. And I'm unsure if I want to go a top-heavy Flame Strike. I reckon the candidates here are a Flame Strike, a Blizzard, or another Arcane Explosion. Well, I mean, we had 2 Pyromancers, but I'm not... We could probably go down to 1 Pyromancer and add in the spell. Take out a Pyromancer and put in another Flame Strike. This could be... We could be risking it being a little bit too top-heavy here, because it is quite a top-heavy deck. But I mean... It always seems, especially when I was talking about those other decks that I was playing earlier when I wasn't recording, It seems the ones that seem to plow me are the ones that just endlessly grind me out, the ones that can just continue to play creatures. And so the quick mana cost doesn't seem to be the prohibitive aspect here. It seems like I can get to 7 mana okay, just by trading 1 for 1, but I need those high-end sweepers, I think. So we're going to go with 2 Flame Strikes this time. It feels a little bit clunky. 7 mana is a lot, but I mean, if I had drawn one there, because I went through well over 2/3 of my deck. I mean, I had seen a lot of the cards, so had I had another one there, it would have been pretty sweet to have drawn. It might have even meant that we have a win there. Anyway, here we are against a priest. This hand is terrible, and I want to have nothing to do with it. There is a chance I might keep the Kirin Mage, actually. I think it's important to keep at least one playable card in this case. I mean, that's alright. Even if I don't draw a secret, I can just play it as a 4/3. Like, the stats are alright on a Kirin Mage. I might keep it just to have some action. I mean, I can coin into it on turn 2. That's pretty good. I'm pretty glad to see the Frostbolt here. That's sort of like what makes this hand good. Because I can sort of interact with whatever garbage he wants to do. Yeah, and I'm going to get rid of that. I've lost a few games to endless card advantage from Northshire Cleric, and I don't want him to go doubling its health next turn and any of that garbage, so we're just going to get rid of it. I could potentially have left that and not pinged it, because if you ping it with your Fire Blast spell, then you're probably going to be in for one hell of a loss, because they will then heal it and then draw a card off it. So I could have probably left it and let him do other things and maybe find a better target for the Frostbolt. But had he then doubled its health or put Power Word Shield on it to make it a toughness 5 creature, we would have had a really difficult time removing that card. At least for some time. So I'm just going to ping him and pass turn. He did cast Mind Vision, so he does have one of my cards here that is not the Frostbolt. He may have a Kirin Mage, Flame Strike, or a Polymorph. Something to keep in mind. Yeah, the bear. I'm honestly tempted to Frostbolt this as well, but then that's both of our Frostbolts gone. Yeah, I think we're going to do it. A lot of the priest stuff can get pretty tanky in health later on. I'm going to nip this one in the bud and stop it becoming a 5 health or 6 health creature. And, you know, later on he's going to be playing like Light Wells and things like that anyway, and the Frostbolt isn't going to be killing anything. So I think we'll try to get the value while we can. I sort of do want to see a secret here, just so I can sort of use one of my Kirin Mages and drop a secret at the same time. I'm more than happy to not play a Kirin Mage until I get a secret at this stage, because he hasn't really pressured us with anything on the board. If there was things on the board, I'd probably drop a Kirin Mage without a secret and just, you know, use it as a, you know, defender or something like that. Yeah, I think... Interestingly, like, we're pinging him and he is just healing it, so there's a very good chance he could be a control deck as well, waiting for us to do something. And because of that, I'm going to play a Kirin Mage now. And the important thing to notice is that it has an attack of 4. Okay? And that's actually pretty important, because priests have a lot of difficulty removing creatures with an attack of 4. That's because Shadow Word Pain only hits things 3 and below, and Shadow Word Death hits things 5 and above. Yeah, it looks like he's going to be pretty happy just dropping huge high-end bombs here. To get rid of this fellow, this old chap, I mean, we could polymorph it and then ping it and continue to swing with our creature, or we could throw our creature into it and then ping it and trade away. We do trade up because his creature's a lot better. And we do want to keep our polymorphs. But I think I'm actually going to polymorph it now and apply pressure. I want him to be on the back foot, I think. This sort of causes him to react to me. I mean, this is unusual for this deck. More than often than not, I'm happy just to sort of sit here and, you know, react to them. But, you know, he needs to favor maybe a taunt creature or something like that to stop this thing just slogging him for 4 damage a turn. You know, he's probably sitting on 2 Shadow Word Pains, 2 Shadow Word Deaths, and can't cast any of them, you know. So I'm more than happy just to ping away. Ultimately, what I want to do is try to get him to blow a Mind Control on it in a couple of turns from now, because he'll be that desperate to get rid of this creature that he'll have to use a 10 mana spell to do that. He seems pretty content on healing himself, which is a little bit concerning. I mean, what sits in here? Guess we'll never know. I'm not going to polymorph the Darkscale Healer. Doesn't seem worth it. I know that I've already used the polymorph and I've got to keep this as emergency backup for anything nasty that he actually plays. I am of a mind to trade away the creature here, because if he doubles this health to 10, then I'm sort of forced to use polymorph. I don't really want to do that. Goodbye!
We have many secrets.
It's alright. We sort of have 2 things on the board now. We have our Spellbender, which is pretty good. It's actually pretty good against Priests Spellbender. Priests and Druids in particular, because they have a lot of buff garbage that they like to do. You know, and destroys as well, so you can steal a destroy spell away from, you know, one of your tender creatures. But also, you can get, like, Power Word, you know, shield thrown on your own Spellbender or something like that. It's pretty rad. So he's got a lot of healing going on. He's happy just to sort of hit him, just sort of do nothing until the late game. I gotta say he's probably got a similar late game in mind as what we do. I am of the belief that my end game is quite heavy-handed and will probably outmuscle him, because he's probably relying on things like Mind Control to do a lot of his dirty work. But I made this deck specifically sort of to get around that. I don't know if you all remember, but priests were quite powerful in the early stages of the beta. I'll take that. So, you know, that's why I have all these 4 strength or 4 attack creatures and such a heavy end game and a lot of counterspells to get around Mind Control. What did we actually dodge then, just then? Oh, the sheep spell, of course. How did I get a sheep? That's right, he used Mind Vision on us earlier and stole our polymorph. Well, that solves that problem, okay? Look at that. I mean, he's used Shadow Word Pain on my sheep. Like, obviously he has a few cards that are just sort of rotting in his hand right now. Because, cleverly, Super Chicken has made a 4 attack creature. Ooh, the priest can't touch the 4 attack creature. Interesting, isn't it? I think we're going to be setting up our next turn to get Ysera out, so we're going to get our Spellbender. And a Vaporize, and ping him. Looks like we have a pretty good next turn, unless he wants to try to remove this, you know, creature again. We'll get it with a Spellbender, but hopefully he won't do that, and we can get Ysera down pretty comfortably. It is interesting that he had to, you know, obviously he was saving Polymorph for something, you know, legitimate, but he was forced to use Polymorph. There we go.
I'll take that.
Okay, this is a little bit concerning now. I probably can't play Ysera next turn. He gave me a 5 toughness creature on his, you know, we stole his Power Word shield, but honestly, I would have probably preferred he takes the Power Word shield on his own character here, and then I play Ysera, and then, you know, I think it's too risky to play Ysera into the possibility of a Mind Control. And, I mean, at this stage, every single priest is playing at least 1 Mind Control. So we can't play this without a counterspell in place. Which means we need to dig through our deck until we find one.
Not too quickly.
Yeah, I think we'll probably just Flame Strike here, and just clear him up and then put the damage on him. We may actually end up winning this game just by beating him to death with this 4/4. Sorry, for this 4/3 creature. Could happen.
As you wish.
I think if we... Now, here's the trap, though. Had I instead played Ysera that turn, I think I would have automatically lost the game. It's important to realize that there is a very strong chance that he has a mind control there. It's good to know these things. I'm hoping that we can get him low enough in health that he is forced to use one of the mind controls on one of these creatures. Here's all that health buffing business that I was talking about earlier. It's starting to come into effect now, but it's less of a pain now. I mean, we've got creatures on the board early on. Like if they drop down a 5 toughness or 6 toughness creature, it can be pretty hairy. He's certainly a defensive player. I mean, he definitely loves his taunt creatures and his high health, you know, and endless heals. I think the play here would be to play Blood Mage into Flame Strike. That would do enough damage, not quite to kill this man. Flame Strike may not be the answer then. Potentially still the answer. I mean, we could go Blood Mage into Flame Strike into Arcane Missiles and hopefully clear the board. This old fellow may live. I think that's what we'll do. We'll get him out. Get rid of this garbage. Yeah, I mean, all I need to do is hit him at least once with Arcane Missiles right now. At least once. And when I say him, I do mean the Sentient Shield Master, not the Priest. So we're going to do that. That's even better.
As you wish.
Boop.
For Dalaran.
Boop. Yeah, he's reading the card text of that creature there. It's pretty good, because I got that extra damage from my Flame Strike, and I got that extra bolt for my Arcane Missiles, just by dropping him. And this is what I've been talking about, this is what I've been banging on about in my last few videos. You don't want to play him on turn 2, you just want to sort of play him like on turn 10 or something like that, but in combination with your other spells to get that extra oomph, you know, that extra damage. Double Holy Nova. Double Holy Nova to get rid of one creature. Now, that sort of means we're in a pretty good position. I think the play, now, we're not playing Ysera, not until we're ready. We're going to just be playing just sort of general threats here, just to sort of irk him a little bit.
As you wish.
It is tempting to fireball him now, but we're not going to be doing that either. We definitely need to save that in case he drops something that is just disgusting. I realize we have Polymorph, but, you know, he may drop like a Boulder Fist Ogre that we don't want to Polymorph, but we do want to Fireball. Okay, so he definitely owns one of these cards now, and one of them could actually be Ysera, which is a little bit concerning, because him having his Ysera is bad news. Hopefully he just got Arcane Explosion or something dumb. At this point, Arcane Explosion is just pretty much a dead card here. Okay, he's played a secret, which means he definitely pulled out Vaporize from my hand. So we're going to activate that right now with my 1/1. Oh, it's a Vaporize. I sort of feel like we're in command of this game at this point. He's sort of, you know, flailing around. We're just going to ping him. I mean, it's slow. We got to grind him out, but, you know, we'll get there. Put the armor up just to keep him guessing. It's sort of like putting the armor out like that is sort of like, yes, it could be like a counter spell, so it may actually impact his play for the next turn. You know, it sort of keeps him guessing, but at the same time, it's one of those cards that we benefit from having out there and not in our hand. So whenever there's a lull in the action, like, I can just play that. Whereas all my other cards are sort of like really, you know, there's got to be something out there for them to be any good. And like Arcane Explosion right now will clear both of these minions, and that'll be the play here. Because we're just constantly 2-for-1ing him at the moment. Like, you know, that's one of my cards for 2 of his, and then we follow through. Honestly, I probably should have drawn 2 cards before I pinged him, because I may have wanted to use that mana for something else. But hey. I'm going to play the Wild Pyromancer. I don't consider him rushing me down with low creatures to be something that I'm going to hold him back and wait for that to happen now. I'm really just putting him out because he's a 3 damage creature, and it's going to like mess with his brain. I'm still waiting for that mind control to come out, but he might actually think that these are sort of counter spells. So, he might not want to throw his 10 mana cost into stealing my Azure Drake and then have it countered. Use your words. Yeah, probably. I mean, the play. What do we do here? I mean, I can attack with my Wild Pyromancer onto his Northshire Cleric and live. And then swing for 4. Alternatively, I can use Arcane Missiles, hopefully hit him with, 3 of the 4, and then finish it. Sorry, with 2 of the 4 that will come out of it, and then finish him with this. And then try to hit him for the full 7. What am I talking about? I'm holding a Pyroblast. Yeah. Sometimes I get in that grindy mentality where I just sort of want to, utterly grind them down, and I don't see the obvious play. I think someone at home was probably on their edge of their chair screaming at the monitor just then. I apologize. I'm really good at this game, I swear. I think we'll do one more, and hopefully get 2 wins out of 3. 1 for 1 is sort of terrible. Well, that went better, but I gotta say at the same time, he wasn't rushing us down. To be honest, he didn't do a lot of anything. He just sort of went to 10 mana and then lost. I think there is a good chance, though, we may have beaten him in a mind game just then, because, he was probably holding a lot of removal spells waiting for us to do something, or he was waiting for that opportune moment to steal one of my important creatures, but it maybe never came up. And then he got beaten to death with a 4-3, so... These can go. I've said it before, I don't particularly like having a counter spell in my opening hand. There's nothing worth countering in the early stages of the game. I don't play any creatures, I don't have anything worth protecting, so a counter spell is stupid, especially against a mage. Especially against a mage. What's he going to do? I mean, I want to counter spell a Pyroblast to my face on turn 10, not on, not turn, 3. I'll keep the Frostbolt, that's tasty. It's alright. We have a Frostbolt. It's okay. So we have a mirror match here, Mage vs Mage. I am definitely a control mage though. We'll have to see what he is. I am sort of hoping that he is also a control mage, because I think I can beat another control mage. This game still is in beta, so we get some funny graphical floaty oozes every now and then. I think we'll just ping it. Sorry, I'm just going to make sure I target him. He's floating over the own portrait. I could hit the other character. We'll ping him, take the 3 damage when he attacks, and then we'll ping it again and save our cards. I mean, we could Frostbolt it, but we might, if all we have to do is take 3 damage. We might as well just ping it twice. And that pretty much makes our mind up what we do this turn. Just get rid of that. So basically, we're a card ahead. He used a card, and we haven't used any. We took 4 damage in the process, but that's okay.
Give me a quest.
Well, that is an interesting card to see. So another thing I should note is that I haven't actually played against another mage since the nerf. And the nerf is, of course, when all the frost spells, or the popular frost spells, got increased by 1 mana. We're going to get rid of this guy just whilst I babble on, because he is going to go out of control. So, excuse me. So it's sort of, it's interesting to see what strategies some mages are coming up with. I realize there's still the spell power, Pyroblast to the head sort of thing going around, but this guy seems to be more of a, aggro mid-range sort of thing. I mean, if you played a questing adventurer, it's sort of assumed that he has a lot of low-costing spells. This might even be like the sort of, where he sort of ends his curve, and, This thing is going to get fireballed, this Chillwind Yeti. It's a very good card, and I don't want him hanging around. I'm just looking if there's any other better way to handle that with my cards here. I don't think so. He's just going to get one of these. Trading 1-for-1 is okay. Just try to pick up those 2-for-1 trades where you can. And then hopefully, you know, because our deck is so top-end heavy, when we get to that end of the game, we can just, like, muscle them a little bit more. More muscle at the end of the game. Chillwind Yeti into Fireball meets Chillwind Yeti into Fireball round 2. I mean, he now knows that I don't have any Fireballs, which is probably more relevant information than knowing that he doesn't have any Chillwind Yetis, but still.
What you looking at?
Yes, he is a large man. I'm not entirely certain what the play here, the optimal play here is. I realize I could sheep it, but sheep is one of those. Sorry, polymorph is one of those cards that you do want to hang on to for grim death. You just want to hold on to them as long as humanly possible. If I can handle this creature in another way, I would probably prefer to do that. So maybe I could play a Kirin Tor Mage with a Spellbender out in the same turn. I may take 6 damage from that. And then I can trade next turn. But that sort of puts me close to Pyroblast range. I think we have to sheep it. I think I stand to get too low. Like, if I play a creature and then he ignores the creature and goes straight for me, that puts my health total quite low. And against most classes, that's okay. Because we can just sort of come back from that. But against a mage who is probably packing Pyroblasts like I am, that's some nasty business. Like, we could really, you know, we'd be reeling from that. So I think we can avoid to not take the 6 damage on the nose right there. Yeah, I think the best option here would be to go Kirin Tor Mage into Wild Pyromancer, into Counterspell, into Ping. Do we have enough mana? 3, 4, 5, 3, 6, 7? 7 mana. That removes this creature and sets our board up really well, actually. We will lose the Wild Pyromancer next turn when he pings it, though, which is a little bit ugly. That is ugly. Alternatively, we can just Arcane Explosion and ping and keep our minion.
What to do?
Start with this.
We have many secrets.
I'm going to take the spell Bender. And the best way to remove this creature would be... I'm going to Arcane Explosion it. I don't know if that's the best. I sort of want to keep this fellow. I have a feeling that because he has, you know, Questing Adventure and cards like that, that he may have he may have the ability to dump his hand. You know, maybe even keeping a Wild Pyromancer in addition to Arcane Explosion would have been better. That's good. I'm happy to avoid a Frostbolt any day of the week. That's quite nice. This is always a creature you got to watch out for when you're playing against a mage deck, because you can sort of ping it at will. And when I say ping, I mean fire blast it at will, which turns it into a 5 damage creature every time he does damage to it, or, you know, plus 3 damage every time. So the first time he does it, it will be 5 damage, which is large. I mean, I could Pyroblast it and move on. I don't know if I want to do that though. I sort of do. I think I'm probably willing to Pyroblast this creature. I mean, what's the alternative? I play Azure Drake, draw a card, or Arcane Intellect, draw into cards, hopefully try to hit like a Fireball, which won't kill it anyway. I could Azure Drake into the possibility of... No, we've used our Fireballs, haven't we? No, I'm probably just going to Pyroblast it. It's a possibility that thing could go to 5, 6, 7, or even 8 damage the next turn. And being hit for 8 damage will do the same sort of thing that Boulder Fist Ogre is going to do. Which has put us within the range of being hit by a Pyroblast. We are the slower deck, so I think we should maintain being the slower deck. Yes, that is absolutely what I wanted to see. getting a polymorph out on just a nothing creature. That feels really good because it's not going to go on Ysera or Ragnaros later. So that's one polymorph down. That's really good. The play here is to put a creature on the field. I mean, being the control deck, we're actually sort of... We've got that board state. We've got more cards than him, and we've got more cards on the field than him. I think we take the lull in action and cast Arcane Intellect. Alternatively, we do Counterspell. The Counterspell could be good, because if next turn we do draw one of our finishes, we can just play it straight away. But Arcane Intellect will allow us to dig to it. Very interesting. You know... He's also at 10 mana himself next turn, so maybe a Mirror Entity would be a good choice.
What to do?
Time runs out on me.
I have to make a decision. I'm going to put the Counterspell up and hope that I naturally draw it. I have seen half my deck. I feel like we could draw it soon. If he doesn't do anything in the spell department, we can Arcane Intellect and then set it up for a couple of turns from now. Yeah, so he took away my spell power. I don't think that he necessarily wanted to play, you know, the owl to silence my creature. I just think that he just needed to do something. Yeah, because I mean, if he was going to sheep my creature, he wouldn't have silenced it. So I think he's just trying to flood the board here. Okay, so good thing to notice, that was both sheeps just gone just then. This can go. You know what? You know, we could Flame Strike that creature. And keep ours. No, I'm just going to trade it away. I don't need him having bonus spell power, or... I'm going to keep this in case he floods the board somehow. We're going to set ourselves up for next turn. Hopefully we'll draw into our finisher, which is ultimately what this deck is supposed to do. I'm going to play Mirror Entity. I do want to... I would have played Counterspell here, but we've already wasted a Counterspell earlier, so I'm running low on them. So I sort of want to play a Counterspell when I can guarantee that I have a creature that I want to protect. Maybe this will sort of screw with his brain a little bit, playing a, you know, Mirror Entity. Do I play the Pyromancer or not? I think... you know what? I'm going to hang on to him. I mean, I could put him down and sort of pressure him and sort of make him act, but the thing is, once I resolve a Ragnaros, we're going to win anyway. So we've got to resolve and stick a Ragnaros for a couple of turns, but we'll just win. That was probably the worst Mirror Entity target I probably could have had, honestly. At this stage in the game, that's not what I want to be copying.
Your magic shall not save me.
Yeah, he has a lot of silence creatures, and you know, he's just sort of silencing, you know, stuff that doesn't even have an ability at the moment, just because I think he's just sort of, I think he's desperate, to be honest. The play here is probably to go Kirin Tor into Vaporize, attack Engineer to Engineer, and then ping it. But that allows him the possibility of charging a Spellbreaker into my Kirin Tor Mage. The other play is probably to just Flame Strike. He is so far behind that I can probably afford to Flame Strike him. Yeah, that's gonna happen. That'll happen.
Oh, if you're sure.
We'll get it for one.
We have many secrets.
And we're gonna play one of ours for free. 12 cards remain. We haven't seen any of our finishes. 1 in 6 chance of drawing at least one of the finishes. So we do need a Counterspell up. But I'm probably going to put out... you know, it could happen. We've got to put the Counterspell out. We've got to be prepared for the future. The only thing is I just don't want him to sort of just cast a nothing spell and then we counter the nothing spell. And then, you know, we resolve one of our fatties and then... Well, actually, that ended up being ending up going pretty well for us. He tapped out 7 mana to clear the board, and then it didn't happen. So, not bad. There you go. He's gone. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I guess you don't even need you just need the threat of impending doom to win. I actually didn't expect him to surrender. I guess he just ran out of gas. And I guess that's what this deck does. It just grinds you out. Alright. Well, that was a lot of fun. Thank you very much for watching. I'll make another video shortly. Jump onto Twitter. I'm going to hand out a beta key with some information that may have happened in this video. Stay tuned.